All right, hi everybody. My name is Matt Fredrickson, and I am for those who don't know me, I'm the director of open source software development at Sangoma Technologies. So, what does that mean? That means I oversee both major, I guess, open source projects at Sangoma, including the Astra project as well as the FreePBX project there. What that really means is I get to uh, so I get to work with a bunch of really smart engineers that do make really, really good work. And sometimes I get to talk about it, and hopefully I don't mangle the message too much. Anyway, let's move on. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Astros project to start with. So I'm only going to spend a slide on each project. So this is going to be very, very high level stuff. There's a lot more than this, but just so you're aware, these are some of the larger items that we've been working on this last year. Generally, we're approaching a new major release of Asterisk. We try to annually release a new version of Asterisk. And we have our annual feature freeze, July 15th. So that's coming up in just a little over a week. Also, in addition to that, we have been working a lot on, this is kind of big in US markets, but stir, shake, and support, which is some standards, some SIP standards that have become more and more important for combating, they're touted as standards that are to help combat the problem of robocalling. I don't know how it is in the UK and other parts of the EU and things like that, but unsolicited calls or not people calling to sell you things and whatnot are becoming more and more of a problem in the United States, and it's kind of a pain in the rear. So stir shaken are a set of standards that help to, at the very least, allow you to assert ownership of a caller ID, a particular phone number, and so that malicious callers that aren't asserting proper caller ID and things like that. This can, assuming that everybody in the call path complies with it, this can make sure that the numbers that you receive are truly numbers that somebody owns. And that's kind of the foundations for building databases and things like that of people you don't want calling you, right? Among other things. So we're adding Astra support for that. It also includes a somewhat major rewrite of the codec negotiation support. This has been wanted for a long time. But for people who implement asterisk and networks and things like that and want a lot more finer grained control over what codecs are being offered or answered and things like that in call negotiation, this will allow you to do that at a lot lower level and with a lot more detail. The last one I want to talk about is PJSIP PCAP support. So this allows people that use Res or CHAM PJSIP to be able to so instead of, when you turn on logging to look at SIP traffic on the Astra perspective, usually it dumps to the command line. This allows it to dump actually to a PCAP file. And you may ask, why do I even care about that? I can just run TCP dump on my system, right? Well, in the case of encrypted signaling, so if you've got encrypted signaling with SIP, that is kind of a challenge because you got to go find encrypted signaling keys to be able to figure out what your signaling is and things like that. So this dumps it to plain text so that an administrator can see what's going on and use your favorite tools like Wireshark to be able to look at call traffic and things like that, figure out what's going on. On the FreePBX front, we've got enhanced emergency dialing support. What does this mean? We have the ability to do outbound notifications. So when somebody makes an outbound emergency call, it allows you to configure an admin number or administrator to be able to be notified in that case. It also, if someone's making an outbound emergency call, it allows you to be able to set a caller ID that's special, right? Because a lot of times, your caller ID may not be associated with your location if you're doing your normal business things. And so, you might have your company caller ID, which could have main offices in another city or something like that. This allows an override to that so that you can set a location-based caller ID when you're making an emergency call, which is kind of nice. There's, in an effort to move people forward to CHAM PJSIP, there's a bulk conversion tool for FreePBX so people can move larger systems with lots of extensions more easily over to PJSIP. We also have some new commercial modules, which is a new call accounting module and advanced recovery module. The call accounting is to help keep track of call costs on different parts of your organization. And the advanced recovery is to help to be able to configure a primary or backup server and have your funds be able to register to both and have failover and things like that. So it's kind of a nice thing for systems that require a little bit more availability. There's also continued focus on solidifying the new backup and restore support that debuted in FreePBX 15. There was a rewritten version of backup and restore. And we're working to solidify that and continue to, as bugs crop up, we're continue to work on those things and invest in that code so that people can more easily move forward to a modern version of FreePBX. We're also laying foundations for migration to PHP 7. We really, really would like to get moving to PHP 7 as a new foundation for FreePBX. And there's a number of things that we're doing foundationally to move that work forward. Just a couple of reminders, particularly in the Astra front. Astra 13 and 17 go security fix mode this year, 2020. Astra 13 has lived a very long life, and it's been a long time coming to get to this point. Astra 16 is an LTS, and it goes security fix only in a number of years. So there's a little bit more time on that. So if you're migrating forward, Astra 16 is not a bad place to start thinking about. Also, for those who aren't aware, ChanSIP was marked as deprecated in Astra 17. So please, please, please move forward to ChanPJSIP. I think that's it for me as far as updates go. I hope you guys have a great time at ComCon. I personally, ComCon is one of my favorite conferences every year, and it was super sad this year when they, with the COVID, the problems and challenges with COVID, with in-person meetings and things like that. And it was sad to me that we weren't able to do an in-person ComCon. But hopefully this will help give you a flavor of what's going on with open source at Sangoma. Have a good day, everybody.